So welcome back. This is the second online episode of Learning Welsh for Beginners. If you joined us on the first session, thank you. Please do like and subscribe, because that's how I can get comments on whether or not I'm going at a pace that helps people, or if I need to be looking at different ways of doing things. Obviously, we're using audio, video. I'm at the bottom of the screen, and hopefully as well you can see what I'm doing at the top of the screen. So initially then, last week or the other day, whenever you watched it, we did informal greetings, and that was kind of to friends, people you know in the singular person. So today we're going to develop that slightly, look at more formal greetings, and also we'll look at saying things that you like and things that you dislike. So just to quickly recap, we had ways of introducing ourselves and our names. So we could have said Shemai, or we could have just said hello. So Shemai, fy enw I yw, my name is, fy enw I yw Glenn. Or a more informal conversational way of saying that, hello, Glenn dwi. So your name and dwi after that. And then to recap, to ask somebody else's name, it was, hello, Glenn dwi, a ti, and you are, which then you would hopefully get a response with a name, and you could then reply, said, oh, hello, Shemai. And that kind of introduction is done. With a group of people, or somebody who you don't know, or somebody who is older than you, or somebody in maybe a position of that commands some kind of respect, you don't use the T. It's no crime if you do. It just feels and sounds a little uncomfortable. But so if you can't remember it, don't worry. Again, it's all about practice, and making mistakes is absolutely fine. So we're going to do the similarly introducing ourselves, but this time to a group of people, or to somebody older or somebody you don't know. So we would normally say, hello, Shemai, Glenn dwi. And instead of saying a ti, as we did do, a ti, and you are, who are you, what's your name, and you, we would change this to a chi. A chi. And there is a problem for a few people in the fact that Welsh does use the ch. I'll highlight that. The ch as ch. It takes a bit of practice. It's at the back of the throat. Kind of need a bit of saliva to make that sound. Chi. Chi. Ch. Chi. So that is a formal way. T, singular, informal. Chi, formal or plural. So, to introduce myself, I would say, hello, Glenn dwi, a chi, a chi. Now, we also asked about saying your name or asking somebody's name in a more formal way. So informally, just a quick recap. Beth yw dy enw di? Beth yw dy enw di? What's your name? Instead of saying, if you're going to open with that, you could say, Beth yw dy enw di? What is your name? But if it's for plural, for more than one person, or again, an older person, with you have that kind of more respect, it changes. Remember this chi here. This is a key. You need to remember the chi for plural or somebody you don't know very well. Changes to beth yw eich enw chi. It's there. The plural. Beth yw eich enw chi. Again, seems a long, difficult sentence to say if you're not used to your mouth making those shapes. Beth yw eich enw chi. Beth yw eich enw chi. What is your name? Formal. formal or group. There is, again, a conversational way around that, which is not incorrect, and it's okay to use if you're already using that conversation in the context of identifying who people are. Where we used here, if you're already saying your name and you're also saying, and you are, ati, achi, you can use that. Beth yw eich enw chi, beth yw eich enw chi, or if you're already talking about names and introducing, you could just say achi. So there we go. That's the more formal or a group. Practice that. We shall practice that at the end. So I want to talk about likes, really, and dislikes. So the verb like in Welsh is one that many people know, actually, is hoffi. Hoffi, to like. Now, if you want to say that you like something, the full formal way of saying that is rydw i yn, and there's the word, I'll capitalise it, rydw i yn hoffi, I like. Excuse me. Rydw i yn hoffi, one that people use quite often, coffee. Rydw i yn hoffi coffee. Rydw i yn hoffi coffee. I like coffee. To say you don't like something, I'll put this one in red. Tydw i, I would say tydw i ddim yn hoffi, and whatever it is, coffee. Now, as I said earlier, I'm a fluent Welsh speaker, and I sometimes make mistakes, and I may not get everything right. And I had to question myself in my head there, is it rydw i or tydw i? And as I was typing it, I was thinking, is that tydw i ddim yn hoffi coffee or rydw i ddim yn hoffi coffee? Rydw i ddim yn hoffi coffee. However, much as when we introduced ourselves, simplified it from fy enw i yw, or beth yw eich enw chi, to Glenn dwi, I'm Glenn, you can do a similar thing with these. So to say you like something, which is rydw i yn hoffi, I like, if you look at these letters, you might recognize there dwi, as in Glenn dwi. So you could simplify that quite easily to dwi'n hoffi, and then whatever it is. I'll put that green because that's something you do like. So you've simplified rydw i yn hoffi to dwi'n hoffi, I like. Here, where is the ddim capitalized, which means you don't like something, we can simplify rydw i ddim, or tydw i ddim for me, rydw i ddim yn hoffi coffee. You can say, very similarly, to simplify that, dwi yn hoffi, whatever it is. I don't like. So we've simplified rydw i yn hoffi coffee to dwi'n hoffi coffee. And hopefully you can see how that's simplified, because basically we've cut the ry to make the dwi, cut the y. That's why you've hopefully able to see the connection to dwi'n hoffi with rydw i yn hoffi. It's perfectly acceptable to say dwi'n hoffi. The formal way of saying I don't like, with ddim, rydw i ddim yn hoffi, rydw i ddim yn hoffi, can be simplified to dwi'm yn hoffi. So again, you can see where they are. The dwi is there, and the yn. Dwi'm yn. Dwi'n hoffi, dwi'm yn hoffi. Now that we've done that, we'll quickly go back and practice. So, to say that you like something, rydw i yn hoffi coffi. Rydw i yn hoffi pizza. Rydw i ddim yn hoffi coffi. Rydw i ddim yn hoffi pizza. Simplified version of that. Dwi'n hoffi coffi. Dwi'n hoffi coffi. Dwi'm yn hoffi coffi. Dwi'm yn hoffi coffi. Both perfectly acceptable. To ask somebody if they like something, similarly, I think that when we introduced ourselves, if you're already having that conversation that's in context with what you're talking about, you can simplify things a lot. So that when we were obviously talking about our names and introducing ourselves, I could reply by asking somebody else's name just by saying ati or achi. So if we're talking about likes and dislikes of coffee and pizza, we can still use those really useful abbreviations. So, rydw i yn hoffi coffee. I like coffee. So to ask somebody else, do they like coffee? You can ask the exact same thing as you did when you asked somebody to introduce themselves to you in response. It's perfectly acceptable to say ati and you, rather than a formal way, which again is perfectly fine, which is wyt ti yn hoffi, whatever, coffee. Do you like? For me, if I was already in context of that conversation, that to say that I like something, I would reply, and you? To ask somebody if it's out of context of or a new conversation, wyt ti yn hoffi? Do you like? So hopefully that helps. So we've said dwi'n hoffi, I like. Dwi'm yn hoffi, I don't like, in a simplified way. If you'd say you would like something, all that we've said so far can be turned around to say that you would like something. So the word hoffi comes back. Hoffwn i. See, whether that would have been hoffi. Hoffwn i. I would like. Hoffwn i pizza. Hoffwn i tea. Tea. Then to ask somebody else, would they like something? Informally. Hoffet ti? Would you like? And you can just say that. Hoffet ti, if you already know what you're talking about. Hoffet ti pizza? Oh. Hoffet ti pizza? If you're asking the formal way, so somebody you don't know very well or somebody older than you or a group, you still use the hoffi. I'm going to underline that because it's very important. You still use the hoffi, but this time it becomes hoffech. So, hoffeni. Why don't there's a compliment there? Hoffeni. I'd like. Hoffeti. Would you like? Somebody you know quite well, or somebody younger than you possibly. Hoffechi. Formal. This is kind of as live, so I make mistakes as I go. Formal or a group. So we've learnt so far in this lesson to introduce ourselves on a more formal basis or to a group. So that's the chi. We've also been able to say that you like something and simplified that, and also ask somebody if they like something. You've also been able to say that you don't like something and asked somebody if they would like something. So that's quite a lot if you're brand new to Welsh. So let's just, before we finish up, let's just recap and a chance for you to practice that. Rydw i'n hoffi coffee. Rydw i yn hoffi coffee. Simplified to dwi'n hoffi. Dwi'n hoffi. Asking somebody, do they like it as well? A ti? And you? A ti? Or the more formal, wyt ti yn hoffi coffee? Do you like coffee? Dwi'n hoffi. Simplified version of I like. Dwi'n hoffi coffee. To say I don't like, dwi ddim yn hoffi. Dwi ddim yn hoffi. Rydw i ddim yn hoffi. Or simplified, dwi'm yn hoffi. So the more formal way is rydw i ddim yn hoffi. So the negative ddim yn hoffi. Simplified becomes dwi'm yn hoffi. Dwi'm yn hoffi coffee. If you say you would like something, hoffwn i te. Hoffwn i te. I'd like tea. Hoffeti, would you like? So if it's in context, you don't have to say it. You know, if you're asking for a cup of tea or coffee. Hoffwn i te. Hoffeti? And to a group, hoffwn i te. Hoffech chi, formal or group. Hoffech chi. So hopefully that has helped you and a chance to practice. And obviously, as always, speak along with me. Rewind. I don't get rid of any of what I've written, even though some of it might be spelt incorrectly. I thought it's better than having them as slides that you don't see again, so you can rewind and they'll be there. If you do find that doing the audio and the visual and the screen helps to learn, then I'm glad about that. I do value some comments. Please be kind. I'm only trying my best. And yes, please do subscribe and comment, and then hopefully we'll see you at the next lesson. Hwyl fawr. Goodbye.